Let me know when we're live, Ryan. That's a lovely rally. I think we're live on comms. Rob Shankman here. On my own. Oh. So we've got big quarterfinal here. Leon Smart, world number 7, against world number 4, Ben Taylor Matthews. I'm going to be joined very shortly by head professional at Westwood Country Club, Ivan Ronaldson. I'm very well, thanks. Oh, thanks, Ivan. So, 30 love, first game. Second gallery to beat for Ben. Leon adopting his traditional high serve, something we've been accustomed to watching.
Hop.
Oh, great play from Leon. Did well initially to get that ball near the hazards. Battles it out. So 15-30, better than the last gallery. So the one thing, obviously, with those high serves is the sheer amount of faults, which can increase the length of the game. A nightmare for any tournament organizer. Lost it. Wow. Leon doing really well to dig these out. So Ivan's here now. Much like the fairy tale Rapunzel, sort of the damsel in distress, I answered the call, didn't I, this morning?
Thank you, Rob. So how's Leon looking? We heard this morning he's pulled out of the doubles.
He's looking really good in this first game, to be honest. So yeah, slightly odd one for all you guys who don't know. We'll explain more at the change of hands. So yeah, I believe that Leon's pulled out the doubles tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah. Seemed you'd have thought that if you were going to pull out of anything, you'd have an extra day's rest, pull out of the singles that you don't have a very good chance at, and then play the doubles where you only have to hit 40% of the balls or something you can play up.
Yeah, really strange. I mean, not for me to say. We're obviously not in Leon's body. He's probably spoken to his partner, Mr. Dodgson, and yeah, I mean, maybe not the call you or I might have taken, but it's the call he's taken. And he's out here today in the quarterfinal of the 2025 US Open, and yeah, just glad we've got some tennis to watch. Worse than 5 to beat.
Is that Rob Fay marking there?
Sure is.
And the chase
Well, that's
was
good.
3. 40-30.
Tell you what,
Chase
Ivan, I
better
just
than
received
last
this
gallery.
email.
A bunch of the pros, I think 7 of them have gone off to a local shooting range.
I still get the emails from ex-Cal from 2 years ago. But yeah, so great. Always good for travelling visitors at these tournaments to sample some of the local culture.
You didn't fancy going back?
I didn't, mate. No. I mean, the biggest issue is I've got to play today. Oh, wow. That one was
Advantage.
going in. Good lobbing from Leon. So we'll whisker away from the first game here. Lovely ball from Ben. I wonder if we're going to get any input from your cousin on this match. He's been a very keen viewer on the matches so far.
I think he was considering
Worse than a yard.
maybe coming up and commentating the finals.
I mean, he's literally been watching every match, and so I can't believe he's not here anyway.
And 4 and 5. 2
He was
chases.
texting me today. But yeah. Nice. So we're at Juice 2 Tough Chases. I mean, Ivan, I can show you here the text. No GDPR. Oh, he's watching.
Juice
There we
chase
go.
worse than a yard.
Hello, Matty. Well, I could beat it.
Lost it. Serves advantage. Chase 4 and 5.
Jane Taylor watching in the comments from the south of England. Let's go BTM, supporting the Brits. So obviously forgetting that Leon's from Essex.
Oh,
Is he?
Canvey Island, yeah.
Doesn't have the accent.
I think he's lost it after probably a decade in America. Oh wow, first game Leon.
game server. First
So
first set.
bit of a surprise in the first game. Both players kind of feeling each other out still.
Stroke.
Strokey. Wow,
15 love.
that's as good as it gets. Yeah, that is annoying. Leon showing his frustration there.
Oh,
More comments. Chris Ailey, score predictions, please, guys. BTM in 4 for me. Interesting prediction, Chris. Obviously, a good friend of yours, Ivan. He did some work with you, didn't he?
Yeah. He's he's up in Leamington, right?
Yeah, that's right.
it's the first gallery. 15 love.
If I had to predict, I'd say BTM in 3. But yeah, Leon definitely good value for a set, I think.
I'm going for BTM 6-4 in the first. Leon retires injured.
Good prediction. I like that. Susie Faulkner in South America. Wow.
Stroke.
Whereabouts in South America,
30
Susie?
love.
Hola. You'd think though, Ivan, if Leon gets to 6-4 in the first, you kind of think
You might give it a
might give it a go.
going, yeah.
Yeah. Remember
40
talking
love,
to you in
chase
practice.
the first.
That high serve where you wrap is the kind of the undertwist, the high undertwist.
Yeah.
Is that the giraffe or the chandelle? Which one's that?
So Chandelle, my understanding, is pretty much anything high. It's a giraffe-like action. Anything which is going to bounce and kick towards the grill
Yeah.
is quite effective here because you either get a fault or a great serve.
Yeah.
Whereas the one where you come around it.
Yeah.
If you hit penthouse first, it'll sit on the back penthouse and then you're dead. So
Yeah.
that one doesn't
40 love
work.
serve lead.
You sure are at this
First
level.
gallery.
40 love, Taylor Matthews, first gallery to beat. Be interested to see if this railroad kicks back.
Oh.
Guess we'll never know.
Gee, Leon's been serving a ton of those
Yeah.
throughout the tournament.
Oh, another one. Brilliant. Buenos Aires in Argentina. There we go.
That is game one, game
Good
all,
stuff,
first
Susie.
set.
As
1-0.
BTM secures the second game. It's a great get.
Have you played Leon a lot recently?
Played him quite a lot over the last few years, yeah. Played him twice in 2023. Played him in the summer at Hampton Court. Always quite a good game, actually. And we've
No
got
strokes.
like I get on with Leon really well off court. But we're obviously very different players. He prefers like volleying, a bit more of an aggressive style, whereas I favour the floor. So always a good battle, and he's an immense competitor. Even though when you watch him on court, he can seem kind of like apathetic, and he would probably
15
agree.
love.
There's an immense desire to win there, and so I think he's one of the best competitors we've got in the sport.
Your record with him over the last few years?
2 wins, 1 loss, but I would trade those 2 wins for the 1 loss, which was the quarterfinal of the US Pro. So, but yeah, he's an awesome competitor, and he will be giving everything he's got in this one. We hope.
Stroke. 15-30.
15-30. Leon looking pretty good here. I mean, he's almost gone up a gear, I think, from the Barney match on Sunday for me, or Saturday.
40-15 has a second.
Do you feel people are getting more comfortable with the court now?
Yeah, I do.
Tough to start with.
I think actually the main thing I've noticed is the balls have become less hard and aggressive. I think there's a lot fewer balls that's kind of rolling out off the back wall. It's bringing retrieval into play, which is great, and I think it's making the length of your shots even more important. So more akin to kind of the game we're used to.
40-15 receiving.
Less hazards.
Yeah, for
Second
sure.
gallery.
So kind of watching the qualifiers, there's an awful lot of balls kind of disappearing to kind of 1 and 2 off the back wall. Now you're seeing people getting those. And I think it's a really fair real tennis court. I've enjoyed playing here all week, and yeah, always good to see. Oh. Lovely ball from Leon, well put away.
30-40.
That medium pace main wall timbre that goes into the back of the court and then dies in the forehand corner, really tough to get out.
Oh.
I think anyone who's like learning the game or playing the game, the pace at which you hit the timbre is really important. I think it's easy just to kind of bat away at that corner, but if you can just hit the main wall timbre at the perfect length, that's almost more important than hitting hard for that corner, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly
Game
right.
receiver. Two
I
games to
don't know,
one,
there's been
first
some
set.
complaints about the timbre this week. I personally think if you overhit that main wall timbre, it's super easy. It's basically
right round
coming
into the
right
middle,
round
yeah,
into
yeah.
the middle. So, yeah, no complaints at all. It's 2-1 Ben.
15 love.
Oh, Leon's girlfriend, lovely Aspen, watching from Boston. Let's go, Leon. Exactly. Enjoyed your contributions to the YouTube comments for the Barney match.
2.
All that flair with an injured shoulder. I did enjoy that comment. But yeah, guys, keep chipping in. If you're watching from Boston, if you're watching from Bristol, which is obviously where Ben works.
So Jane's asking if the balls have changed much. You were
2 in
you
the
were
second
talking
gallery.
about this just now. They're slower, less aggressive off the back.
Definitely slower. giving people more of a chance off the back wall. But I think, again, if you cut the ball here, it sits down like it should do. It just promotes good play, I think. It's just super consistent. And there's no real spots on it. I think on some courts you get kind of areas of the back wall where it's going to sit down more than others. I think here every wall's it's the same. So, yeah, it's good. But so BTM 15 love, 2 chases.
15 love, server leads. Chase better than 2.
This is one of the first US Opens where the Americans are now saying we're going to use the same set of balls for all pro tournaments, made by Tony
30
Holland.
love,
Yeah.
chase the second gallery.
Sent down 2 sets of 80, and we're switching them in and out each day, trying to get to a point where by the time we get to semis and final, we'll take the best of them and use the top 90 for the last few matches.
So just for the benefit of the viewers from home, benefit of the viewers at home and me as well, I've never made a real tennis ball. So are you basically looking at them? Is it visual, or are you bouncing them on the court to find out which are the best balls?
A bit of both.
Okay.
So there's a certain sound when the time's gone. You can feel some squishiness.
40 love.
Yeah.
But how much wear on the balls is probably the main thing.
Oh, is that like the rough, like the felt? How the felt's been
much
affected?
felt's left? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the balls should all be very similar. Tony
Yeah.
made all of them.
No, exactly. I think that's the way to go, and it's ultimately going to produce like a good set for the finals, which is super important.
40 love, receiver leads. Chase 2.
I think we've had in previous years situations where different pros have made different sets. So you have a very different set for doubles as you did for the singles, and pros struggling to get used to them.
Yeah, not that it really mattered too much. I remember in Boston 2023, there was a single set which were like rock hard, tiny, and the double set were like completely slow. It was so much slower. Like not that it would have made a difference to the winners and stuff like that, but it's still just like annoying to get your head round in a way.
Yep.
3-1 Taylor Matthews pulling away here.
You're getting this? Did either Leon or Ben have any superstitions before or during matches? That's from Georgie Ingham.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend. She's obviously just looking for something to get me talking about. Great question. And I've watched Ben play an awful lot over the years. He's potentially the least superstitious person out there. I mean, nothing would kind of faze him in that way. Leon as well. I mean,
15 all.
not sure they have any kind of superstitions or tics, things like that. I mean, they both just tend to get on with it, I think.
Ryan, are you seeing this about the stream audio from Jane Taylor?
1 and 2. 15 all. Better than 3. 2 chases.
Julian Snow telling me on text I don't sound very well. He's correct.
Oh, great.
There's been the
I'm about to get sick.
Yeah. There's been the Washington plague, though, right? There's been a lot of people laid low with the Washington plague. Something in the water.
Came down from something happened in Tuxedo.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. Something in the water around here.
First chase is 1 and 2. Oh.
Ivan has literally just opened the doors up. He's opened the doors up.
30-15, better than
Stream audio sounding good for Henry Henman. That's good. Good to hear from you, Henry. Hope you're studying hard.
That's chase. 40-15.
Mr. Carey's got some kind of contraption out of the Middle Ages to prevent against the flu, I think.
30-40.
Yeah, if he goes down, the whole stream goes down.
Stroke. Juice.
Juice in the 5th game. Wow, great angle of Taylor Matthews' backhand there. One of the most technically pure backhands in the game. Would you agree, Ivan?
Not that one.
Definitely not. Great shot. Lovely ball, testing both corners out there, Ben.
There's not a lot you can do with that ball, even if you get to it, right? Digging it out of that.
I'm not a big believer in that corner, actually. I think you can kind of, with the strength of everyone on their forehands these days, you can put yourself in trouble if that length's not perfect. You're giving someone a swing on it. They can boast out hard. They can put you in danger in the main wall. They can slide one down the line. But obviously Ben's played that perfectly, so Richie deserved the point. Ross Can, very British commentary for this match. Yes, there are 2 English people commentating.
Chase better than 3.
Tom Van Buskirk, Actual Magic from... You're not using the Actual Magic YouTube channel this time. From Newport.
So worse than 3. Juice.
So I think Jane is the only one struggling with the sound audio. You might just need to turn the volume up. Wow, great shot from Ben. Leaned on that nicely, dragging down the back of the ball. That's my mum.
Is there any month that is too hot to play tennis in Manchester?
Well, do you remember when you were in Manchester and it was literally too hot? In 2019?
I don't remember that.
Oh, mate, it was the hottest day of the year.
During the Van Allen Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky here. We've got 68 degrees on court all year round.
Mate, unreal. That's so good. Like, in Manchester, let's say, if you're on court and it's -2, you're just like, you're wearing all of the layers. It's just not really that safe. Owen Saunders from Hampton Court. Keep up the good work on the commentary. It's really very good. So good that I'm choosing to watch this rather than the massive Sutton United versus Manchester United under-21s in the National League Cup. Good to hear from you, Owen.
Juice.
What a serve from Leon. Wow. Gets that high serve flush. Appreciated by Lewis Williams and Darren Long in that side gallery. As the players change ends, this for 2-3, worse than the last to beat.
Receiver's advantage. Chase worse than last gallery.
Western last. Big cut volley, surely. What would you be doing here, Ivan?
Smashing it down the middle as hard as possible.
You might lose the chase. Oh, wow.
Game receiver,
Overhit cut volley,
2
dead
games
on
to 3,
attempt from
first
Leon.
set.
And that's 2-3. Good serve from Ben. One of the things on this court is actually even harder to beat last gallery because of how bouncy the back wall is. Quite often you'll get balls going out to a yard worse than last if you miss a force, for example. So not always the same on other courts.
Yeah, it's quite a big difference between smashing it and getting a yard worse than last and getting worse than second, right?
There is, yeah.
You get in some trouble when you switch if it's.
Time, please. 30 love.
30 love, Ben. Hazard.
Thank you. Hazard 1, 30
I
love.
think Ben's one of the best players in the world at dealing with that kind of short backhand and rally. He's just so good at neutralising it, not panicking. That's a good ball from Leon.
And worse than last gallery.
Where's Bando, yeah? Surprised you didn't have a volley that into the timber.
I'm surprised he didn't take on the volley. I think his weight might have well been sort of more towards the main wall, dealing with the boast. So I think
didn't want to risk it.
Rather than just sticking a racket out, I think he took the chase. Obviously, with the chase already pending. But I mean, I can only speculate. Ben's backhand volley probably one of the better ones.
Receiver's point. 40 love. Chase worse than last gallery. Oh.
Benz wins that first one with ease.
So Leon doesn't seem to be doing his the giraffe like he was in the early round.
No.
I wonder if that's to do with his shoulder.
I think Ben's cut volley is particularly strong. He wraps around that ball really nicely, so I'm not sure it's always the best serve to Ben.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he's
Does
just
it
served
straight
it,
away, yeah. That's a good serve.
Chase 3 and 4. 15-40.
3 and 4 is the chase. Sort of no real rhythm to this game. Lots of changes of ends. Lots of kind of trying to search for length. No one really overcommitting aggressively. So yeah, a slightly strange start. I kind of thought Ben would come out all guns blazing, really looking to attack Leon. I think he's more opting to just work him on the floor, grind him down.
15-40 server leads.
I think we have Colin Lumley flying in today.
I heard
Penny.
that, yes.
We might have get some comms out of him.
I know, he loves commentary, I think. He absolutely loves it. I'm pretty insightful, actually. Obviously, having been there and done that. When did you meet Colin Lumley for the first time? When you were born?
Yeah, he's my brother's godfather. So he and
No
my
way.
dad were very close.
Oh, wow.
He was my first boss, actually.
What, at Hollyfort?
At Hollyfort, yeah. I turned up on day one, and he's... You heard this before?
No, I haven't, but I know it's going to be good.
He turned up on day one. He comes on court with 4 old rackets.
Great finish.
It's fairly old rackets. I don't know if there's any gut string, but they're fairly beat up. And he says, I want to see your game, because he's pro. And all 4 rackets broken. Not necessarily the rackets, but all the strings gone after about 40 minutes. And he walked up to the net, shook my hand, and he said, "I'm never playing you again." Not really what you want to hear as an assistant pro.
What, just because you hit it hard or something?
He wasn't having a good time, and I think that wasn't the way that he played the game. He's from that era of much more land it on last gallery, chip it around.
Sure. So, like, were you kind of one of the first to be sort of banging it around? Like, how did that come about? Did it just feel natural?
I remember. Yeah, I remember being told off by my dad a lot. Don't do it like that. But I'm sure there are other people smacking. Steve Ronaldson was smashing it. That inhaler thing. He'd step inside the returner serve, and then give it some kind of inside-out spin, so the guy standing in front of the dead-on would be going as it went past his chest. And
Love that.
He's certainly crushed it.
Shot from Leon. Great ball.
I think Steve. I think everybody from that era would say Steve was the hardest hitter from that era. Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people kind of around from that era, right? Like kind of active in the game, so it's hard to get that kind of perspective. That's really interesting. Oh, Leon.
30-15.
But yeah, no, because obviously people talk about like Rob and Wayne bringing out the railroad main wall.
That was a bit later.
Yeah. So you actually were smacking it around before that.
Yeah, but I was definitely trying to emulate Steve. I thought he was. Yeah.
In. Oh, lovely get from Ben, making Leon play one more shot. Snowy confirming, he said, Steve Ronaldson scared us all. I like that insight. It's really good, when you get on comms and you learn something, and then the viewers learn something as well. You're challenging accepted thought, so that's interesting. So, like, at your best, would you have beaten your brother?
No, the worst loss I ever had was against my brother. I'd gone to Preston. We'd been working together at Hampton, and I moved to Preston. Came back to play a National League match, and he beat me 6-love in about 20 minutes. So yeah, and his career was longer. I was kind of retired, injured, age 27.
Jeez.
And he kept going for a while.
Is that a Ronaldson trait? I know your cousin had like back problems. Ben maybe had a few back problems as well.
Certainly didn't spend enough time in the gym looking after it.
Yeah. Maybe just needed a bit more vanity. Just needed to get to the gym for that reason. Could have helped.
Yeah, probably right.
40-15 receiver leads.
Might have been something to do with the forcing as well. Like a lot of talk on that Happy Gilmore force.
Yeah. Oh, nice serve from Leon. Good change up. It's gone all the way over.
You see a lot of those here, don't you?
Mate, I hit one yesterday. So it was chase 2. I've got one back into the corner. Vaughan's kind of pushed it towards the galleries. I've run up on the volley and gone high out of court above the back line. It's gone all the way over. No penthouse, just straight over. Probably the highest shot I've ever hit. At Hampton Court, that's like destroying someone in the top gallery if they were stood there. It's well played. It's well played. Well crafted rally. One for the purists as Ben opens up a 5-2 lead.
First set.
Assume that's a fault. Nice rally. Oh, wow. So, Ivan, did you teach Ricardo from Prested? He was like a particularly aggressive player. Were you his first coach, or was that someone else?
I think so. Yeah, he was the assistant there for a while. He was a good soccer player. Hadn't really played any racket sports, but he kind of got good really fast.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
played a lot with Rob and trained hard.
Just treating like the return of serve as a free kick or something.
It's a shame we lost him. Actually, he was kind of he was taking sets off Rob, and I remember pro singles. I think he almost won it. It was 4-2 up against Rob in a quarterfinals.
Beat Chisholm, didn't he, in like a later pro singles, like kind of 2014 kind of time.
He got into paddle, right?
That's right, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, one shot too many down the line, I think, from Leon. I'd like to see him apply a little bit more pressure in that grill corner. I think one shot's great, move Ben around. I'd like to see him sort of attack that timbre a little bit more. It's a lovely ball from Leon. One thing I do notice about his game, so obviously he likes to serve that high giraffe. He backs it up with a really good second serve if there's a fault. He's got tight bobbles, he's got demis. So very much kind of like lawn tennis. He likes to try and dominate when he is at the service end.
I find it very tough to serve a good bobble here.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't kind of die in the. If you get the perfect bobble, it still comes out enough that you can get a racket on it. You're not forced into boasting like you are on most courts.
The thing I've been struggling with is actually there's too many defined bounces. So whenever you hit the roof, it's kind of like 3 obvious bounces, so the person knows exactly where the ball's going to be when they want to hit a volley or something like that. And like you say, they're nearly all going to the back of the court. Still a good serve, but I mean, yeah, it is tricky. I think that's why more people have kind of gone to the demi. So Leon 5-3, with 15 love down in this game.
15 love.
There was a while Ben would serve that topspin demi. I think he's gone back to the regular one.
He served that at Aiken, didn't he, when you were marking last year? Is that right?
Yeah, the eliminator. Yeah.
Are you marking that one again?
Yes, end of March.
Love it.
Nicky against Ben.
I hope you brought your earplugs for the crowd.
15 all.
That place is crazy. They had 3 full bars, like one each, one in last gallery, one in winning gallery, and then the main bar. Yeah, Matty's going to go down for that as well.
Is he referee?
Yeah.
Nice.
Chase 2.
Oh yeah, great cut.
15 all.
Oh wow. What a serve.
30,
That's as flush as it gets. Now, it's difficult when you are facing Leon when he gets into a rhythm with that high serve because you're waiting for the ball constantly. There's faults. He might hit a good one. And then before you know it, kind of the points have ticked away. So Ben's got to be careful he keeps his focus here.
I think we just lost a ball. I think that
really?
somehow, one stuck up in the pipes there.
Is that taken off Mr. Taylor Matthews' prize money? Or appearance fee? Or is it sort of kind of split between the pros? All of a sudden, everyone's receiving like £1.20 less, $1.20 less. Maybe it's taken out of the streaming budget, I'm not sure. Oh, he'll be devastated with that, Leon. Chase 2 to beat, 30-15 up, and he's missed a relatively easy forehand. So my mum and dad have got nothing to watch on TV, so they're... Oh dear. They're commenting a lot as Ben brings up set point. Am I worried about the US team for the Bathurst given the good form of the US players? That's from my dad. I am actually, yeah. I was chatting to Eric at dinner last night, saying that if Freddie can come across to Paris, with Freddie off 2.8 no or off like 3.6 now, I think he is.
Yeah.
Eric playing great as well. And then you've got guys in reserve who are also really hungry, like Henry Smith. I think, the US team are going to be really good, especially in that format, especially with a squad of good players.
How many? Is it 2 or 3?
Mate, you can have a squad of like 8 if you want. Yeah, it's just Davis Cup kind of thing. So you nominate your singles players and doubles players. Which is great though. You want it to be competitive, especially in amateur tennis. And I'm really glad to see how much Noah's come on in the last year. He's really got a lot of better areas to his game. So no credit to all those guys. Wow.
Oh, Ben.
I think he had to volley that, I think that was going to roll
die,
out.
yeah.
So Ross Can, what is the Vegas line on this match? What are their respective handicaps? What's the Vegas line?
Like, what are the betting odds?
Okay. You'd know. Oh, wow. Where's that gone? Well played, Ben. Notches the grill, brings up a second set point. So Ben Taylor Matthews 1-20, Leon Smart 7-1. Ross, if you're keen for a bet on, I don't know how you bet in this country. To be fair,
It's nearly a yard worse.
Is it allowed in this
Advantage.
state? Probably not.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think so. I think they've just started allowing it.
So Ben Taylor Matthews off plus 4.6.
Leon +1, right? Yeah.
Receiver's advantage. Chase is nearly a yard worse than last gallery.
Wow. Well played, Leon. Oh, is he going to get that? Oh. The rally. Oh, what a point. Someone hit last gallery. That's the wrong post, isn't it?
So it has the line.
That is game in the first set. 6 games to 3.
It's lost it, hasn't it?
Second set level.
Game in the first set, 6-3. What a great point that was.
Oh.
Ah, lovely ball. I love that main wall angle, I think it's my favourite shot to hit on this court is the main wall because it just stays so, it kind of pushes out wide off the actual wall. So
you can hit it fairly deep?
Yeah, you can go deep. So, no, I do like that. I do like that shot. I was worried looking at the size of the dead-on when coming here, but the main walls do tend... Oh, no. They do tend to roll.
Better than 2.
Get too excited and press buttons.
Mate, you don't want to press Ryan's buttons. I'm not Freddie Bristow. God. It's like you're in an arcade just smashing slot machines, wasn't it?
Oh. Love.
Jane Taylor, if there was one piece of advice you'd give to a club level player to improve their game, what would it be? Well, you want the keys to the castle, don't you, Jane? I don't think there's one specific piece of advice, but
what level is she?
65.
So she knows not to serve on the back penthouse already. That would be a good starting point. I think that the most common issue you see for people between handicap 40 and 60 is too much when they get under the grill, hitting it back down the line without great length. And then the next one hits the timber and they're in trouble. So you've got to really work on getting your backhand cross court when you're under the grill.
30 love, Ben. That's nice, dead on. Yep, Mr. Carey on the highlights.
30 love, serve leads. Chase 2. Thirty love, chase 2.
That's lost the chase. Beautiful high serve from
40
Ben.
love, nearly a
Maybe
yard
it'll come
worse
into
than last.
the tournament a little bit more now the balls have been worn in a little bit.
During the World Championship, I'm sure you watched it, though. Cam and John served almost exclusively railroads first serve. With the slightly smaller dead on and the dead on being closer to the centre, so there's more of that wall in the backhand corner. I'm surprised people aren't trying to work out how to force your opponent to do skid bows, because it's so ineffective.
Yeah. I actually think like the better players don't take that ball on.
What do they do with it nowadays?
No
I
strokes.
think it's the boast cross court or try and boast shorter, or people have got that kind of wrap round the ball cross court rather than skid
Right,
boasting.
and then once skid bows have gone,
Sorry?
you don't see much skid boasting from pros anymore.
Oh, Ben. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's like a targeted shot at the bottom corner of the dead on. I think everyone's backhand volley is too good now.
2 chases, no strokes.
I mean, I definitely never take it on. But as we see a bit of flair here from Ben. Very well played.
No strokes. Chase
Oliver
the last
Vidana,
gallery.
Leon Smart loves a high serve. I'm glad he's got a set of eyes that are functioning.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
On the chase.
Leon's been all
23.
over it in that backhand corner. Been really impressed with his
15
retrieval,
love,
actually.
chase the last gallery.
Getting those difficult ones back.
Oh.
Yeah, too much pressure in the end to
Very
hold
low.
there for Bam. For Leon, sorry. Haven't had too many big points this match, have we, Ivan?
No.
Oh.
Ryan's graphic can be firmly put in the bin at the moment.
There's a big point graphic.
Yeah, there is, yeah. But it's just not needed.
Oh, that's it.
All up. 15:30.
Got your assistant, Mr. Greenlee, watching up top. I hope he's paid for that seat.
Oh.
Just get him selling some balls.
I was going to say, if you're going to watch the tennis from there, at least make your hands useful. Do some bookings. Been caught out by the security camera.
Oh yeah, he's sewing.
He's
Yeah.
sewing. He was just resting his hands. Hey, there we go. All good, all good. Good work, James.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame Mr. Carey doesn't have kind of like a speaker
Receiver,
function
2
where
games to love, second
he can
set.
talk to the gallery. Back to work. Oh, backhand down. Lovely shot from Ben. So that's my mum and dad's real tennis watching setup. You've got the laptop on the floor for the comments, and then you've got the tennis on the TV.
15-all.
15-all. Ben's progress looking pretty serene at this point. 6-3, 2-love up.
Fault.
Oh, a nice shot from Leon.
30-15.
Oh,
Last gallery.
and I think that's in the last gallery.
30-15, one chase.
So guys, keep the YouTube comments, questions coming in. All really good stuff.
Fault.
Calm but here. We are visiting Manchester tomorrow while I'm in the US. Come back. Well, I will come back eventually.
Stroke.
Great pressure from Ben. Ross Can, have we had any upsets by handicap in the tournament yet? Not necessarily in the main draw proper, but in the qualifying, Ross, there was plenty of kind of handicap upsets. I mean, to name a few, we had Vaughan Hamilton beating Ollie Pridmore, Freddie Bristow beating John Woods Casey on handicap. That was a surprise.
Chase worse than 4.
We had Noah Moats beating Bertie Vallet. So yeah, absolutely loads of kind of upsets in the qualifying, which just shows the depth in quality of this US Open so far.
Yeah, you need it for this game. $30-all. Just the last gallery.
Last gallery to beat. Let's see what Leon puts together here. Oh yeah,
Service point.
good shot from Ben, catching the end
40,
side of that
30.
grill.
Chase worse than 4.
40-30. Yeah, just too many balls being made here from Ben Taylor Matthews. He leads the second set 3 games to love.
3-love.
Looking very, very good.
$15-love. Oh. $15-all. $30-15. 30-all. $40-30. No chase. That's game server. 4 games to love. Second set. Uh-oh. 15 love. $30 love. $15-30. $40-15. Game server, 5 games to love, second set. Last gallery. $15 love. Last gallery again. All out, please. $15 love, receiver leads. Chase the last gallery. $15-all. Chase the last gallery. $30-15. It's worse than 4. 30-15. $40-15, worse than 4. $40-15 receiver leads. Chase is worse than 4. $30-40. Juice. Serves advantage. Juice. Time, please. Juice. Stroke. Advantage. Stroke. Game receiver, 1 game to 5, second set. $15, love. $15-all. Thank you. 30-15. $30-15. Thank you. 30-15, one chase. Stroke. 30-all. 30-all, one chase. .40-30, hazard better than half.
Sorry, I missed that noise. Did you make the noise? Sorry. When I pulled the stroke? Did you say something? Mate, I'm never talking to you, okay?
40-30 receiver leads, hazard better than half a yard. Full. Receivers point, game and the second set. 6 games to 1. Time, please. Receiver leads, 2 sets to love. Third set, love all. Better than 1. $15 love. And chase, worse than first. 2 chases. $15 love, server leads. Chase better than a yard. $15-all, worse than first gallery. Service point. 30-15. Worse than 2. 30-15. Full. $30-all. Last gallery, 2 chases. 30-all. Chase worse than 2. Chase, fill a yard. 40-30, chase the last gallery. Game receiver. First game, third set. Love. Chase worse than 3. 15 love. And better than 2. 2 chases. $15 love receiver. Chase worse than 3. That's chase. 15-all. Chase better than 2. Worse than 4. 30-15. $40-15. Worse than 6. 40-15. $40-15 receiver leads. Worse than 6. On the chase. Game receiver, 2 games to love, third set. $15 love. Worse than a yard. And better than 2. 2 chases. $15 love, server leads. Chase worse than a yard.
Okay.
Rob Schenkman has stepped out. Commentary now is Ivan Ronaldson and Haven Pell. Haven, one of only a handful of people who's been involved in the building of 2 courts, I imagine. It's going to be a pretty short list, right?
It's going to be a pretty short list. I'm probably the only one who wasn't a king.
Chase off.
So
15
they're
all.
using different serves than we do, Ivan. And, you know, a lot of the people who play at my level are, you know, hitting sort of an American twist that takes off from the walls that tend to be a little grippy. And but obviously that's not a serve that these guys are going to do. So how are they thinking about the serve?
The underarm twist, I think, is that what you're calling an American twist?
No, the one that we see some of our amateurs.
Like a lawn tennis.
Yeah,
second
the
serve,
lawn
like a
tennis
kick.
American twist that, you know, kicks way out, it, you know, hits the back wall and kicks way off to the right.
So that's quite an effective serve as when you're around handicap 60, 70.
Yeah.
Because it kind of leaps up into your opponent's throat. But the better players, if they see it's going to hit floor back wall, they can just move back and stand by the fault line, and it's just going to sit right up, and they're going to carve it into the corners. So
Right.
not very effective. The only pro player I think we see do a lot of that these days, if he can still consider himself a pro, is probably Graham Highland. I think he calls it the African hunting dog. And he's trying to hit, basically trying to hit the neck. But if he hits floor first, it's going to do that huge kick, and if he hits back wall first, it's going to do something completely different. So he still likes that. I don't think we've seen any pros do it over the last week. Ryan might know if that's not the case, but yeah. So at the pro level, serving is a lot more defensive. You're trying to prevent your opponent from hitting a scorching cut volley or a screaming force. So anything you can do that's going to slow down those or make those shots difficult you'd be pretty happy with. So it's not the weapon it is at handicap 40 or 50.
Right. Do you think that impacts the notion that the serving end is likely to win 55% of the points, or some larger than half of the points from the serving end? Do you think that the way people are receiving now has changed that at all?
At the pro level, or which handicap level are you talking?
Start with a pro and then move up.
I think it depends on the players. Like if you take someone like Rob, he's probably just as comfortable up the hazard end, hitting one of the best cut volleys ever, or crushing a main wall dead on, as he is at the service end.
15 love.
And I think I'd have to ask the players. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I was involved in the pro game, so I'm not quite sure what their thinking is these days.
15 all.
Are they electing to serve at the beginning of the match? That would probably be a good indicator. I think they probably are most of the time.
Mm-hmm. But maybe as the level gets better, the percentages go down. I mean, if it, you know, I don't think anybody ever really knew what the answer was, but a lot of people thought it was 55% of the points would be won from the serving end. And, you know, that may never have been correct, but maybe it's 51, maybe it's 52, maybe it's 49.
Certainly, when you're first starting out, something between 75 and 80% of the points at the handicap 70-80 range are going to be won from the service end. And I guess that's getting closer to 50-50 as you get to the pros.
15-all. Chase the second gallery.
It depends on the court as well. We have quite an aggressive timbre. It's hard to...
Says he, laughing, since this is tambour number 2.
So I think it... And we have a slightly smaller dead on as well. So I think you, on balance, want to be... All these guys are going to want to be serving.
Jane Taylor asks in the commentary, what happened to the commentary team? Here we are. We're back. Aren't you excited? Well, that's a lovely comment. Jane Taylor says, hi, Mr. Pell, now becoming the only person on earth who calls me that. Met you at Oratory, bought your lovely book, a good read. Well, Jane, I'm glad you did, and please call me Haven.
30-all.
Okay.
Isn't the production quality just fantastic now? Do you remember? It doesn't feel that long ago when we were watching blurry balls and
40-30.
no focus and...
Well,
Mr. Carey. No, not. I'm talking pre-Ryan Carey here.
Well, the ability to change
It's
cameras
worse than a yard.
is
40-30.
just phenomenal. I mean, I'm looking across the way from the commentary booth. I don't know that this would quite qualify as a booth, but I'm looking at what Ryan has in front of him, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 screens, and then a whole bunch of boxes, and I haven't the slightest idea what any of them does.
40-30, receiver leads. Chase worse than a yard.
The press box, yeah. And it's just amazing what Ryan is able to do, and I think it's such a contribution to the game.
For worse than 4. Juice.
So I was up in the Martin room there above the dead-on just now. There is a ball stuck above the air conditioning unit in the where the flags are now. Another one.
Oh, no.
Sitting on top of the big
Juice.
tube.
Oh, no. I gather for all the effort we made to make sure that the balls would come right back immediately,
Advantage.
we utterly failed.
Right.
And
We're getting about 90 every 6 months stuck in the lights.
and the dilemma is that Ivan doesn't like heights, and so we can't send him up the ladder to do it. That's becomes either the role of an assistant professional or somebody else that they can dragoon into risking his life to climb 18 feet up to pick them all off.
Fortunately, the head groundsman at Westwood, David McGregor, seems to be quite comfortable going up there as long as someone's holding the ladder.
Game server.
I see. Well,
1 game to 3.
it probably is, in the end, that's probably a better fix than anything that we could have planned on. We made that area underneath the lights slope on the theory that the balls would just roll off. They don't. And
Last gallery. No strokes.
Oh, we shouldn't lose too many this week. This guy's keeping it in play more than our lot.
Oh.
What was the second set score, Ryan?
Nearly a yard worse.
Ryan, should I be able to hear myself through these earphones?
2 chases.
Oh, okay. So down 2 sets and 3-1 in the third set. Now what, Ivan?
No strokes. Chasing last gallery.
I have no idea how he's going to get out of this one.
Not up. On the chase.
Rob was saying earlier during the first set that Leon's a
Nearly a yard worse than
very
last.
good competitor. He certainly isn't going to give up. He's going to make Ben work for it.
Not up. 15 all.
What advice would you give to an amateur who
30,
was in,
15.
you know, obviously we wouldn't be playing 3 out of 5 sets, but let's say you're down a set and you're down 3-1 in the second set, and obviously it's been a long day.
Better than last gallery.
What do you tell people to
35th.
do?
So one of the things you can do if you're trying to completely change the course of a match is, if you have some different serves in your arsenal, is to try and change the flow of the match. Certainly, my father has the idea of serve a different serve every single serve, to try and so his opponent doesn't get in a rhythm. I think Rob Fay would have the opposite approach. He's bang in a railroad
2
and
and
then
3.
hit the volley into the grill.
2 chases.
But Rob was a bit of a chameleon, and he would certainly do that. He would change his serve if things were going badly. This is maybe a decade ago. Things didn't go badly very often, though.
No. How many serves do you think it would, you know, take a person who, take an average player and maybe a pretty good amateur and then a professional?
30 all.
How many
Chase
serves
better than last
should they
gallery.
have? Should each of those
So-
groups have?
A lot of people seem to think that, I need to just change up my serve. But it's quite important that they're good. So you should have, probably most pros have about
40, 30, chase
6
2 and
that
3.
they feel are like open worthy serves. And they're and some will work better on different courts as well, and against different people. If you're playing someone who's just going to tee off on everything, you're going to want a different serve than somebody who's a runner.
So,
Court tennis is very different, or real tennis is
game
very
serve
different
at 2
to
games to 3, third set.
tennis. I think we were talking about this the other day, but if you took Roger Federer and said how good is his first serve out of 10, we'll say it's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
His second serve on that scale, which is 20, 25 miles an hour softer and it's going in by a yard, it's probably a 3 or a 4.
It's better
In
than 3.
in real tennis, most of these guys, their second serve is, if the first serve say they're a 10 at whatever it is, the second serve is probably going to be a 9. It's
Right.
a demi-piqué or a bobble that's almost as effective as a whole load of other serves. So you can afford to
Oh,
only have a 30 or 40% success rate on your first serve. Do a ton of faults and it doesn't really matter too much. So very different. It's a tough concept for people coming across
more than
from
the
tennis,
worse.
'cause
2
they're
chases.
used to wanting to get a high percentage of first serves in.
That's interesting. You've certainly told me that in lessons. I'm not sure I've ever implemented it quite properly, but
My dad, back in the days when the pros did serve underarm twists, he'd say he would expect to get at least 1 in 3 framing it into a second gallery because he's trying to get
Chase
so
better
much
than
spin.
3.
do they not use underarm twists anymore? Is it just too easy?
No, I think it's too easy to cut volley. You don't see a lot of it anymore. Oh, did he hurt himself? No, he's just
15 love.
he hit a bad shot.
More than a yard worse than last gallery. More than a yard worse. Nope. 15-0. Chase worse than 5.
Ryan, do you have a camera at the net? Is there one right near the main wall? Yeah, I thought. Have you? Of course, you can't answer these questions, but I'll provide the answer for you. Have you changed the location of the cameras over the years?
30-15.
Yeah, there seem to be about 6 or 7 in the dead on for
More.
different angles. Yeah.
It strikes me as more in the data and less everywhere
Think
else. The answer for our viewing audience is
40-15.
yes, there are more in the dead on, but it's mostly
Chase
because they're
worse
probably
than
going to get
5.
hit. And nobody's writing anything. Okay, you live chat people, if there are any. No, there are 99 people in the live chat.
Chase
Ask
worse
us a
than
question.
5. Oh.
Ryan has a crickets button.
On the chase. Game receiver. 4 games to 2. $15, love.
What have you heard about the court from the players?
So for about half the players, this tournament's the first time they played on the court,
Okay.
and they were finding it, especially early on with the hard new balls, they were finding it
15-0.
very lively. They were struggling a little bit off the timbre. It's going a little deeper than they used to. But I think most of them have got used to it. It's definitely a difficult court to serve on because there's not a lot of grip on the penthouse. It's steep, so it's kind of fast, but also you don't get any kick. So it's quite easy to read cut volleys.
Second gallery. 15-0.
So Leon seems to be pretty happy with his giraffe. During the World Championship, Cam and John both served railroads and bobbles 95% of the time. But we've seen quite a mix of serving. Seen Freddie Bristow doing
30-15.
80% demi-PKs, I think.
Oh.
We're not seeing nearly as many railroads. I think because people are having trouble getting the ball to come back into the side battery wall.
Right. Well, with the amount of spin I can put on a ball, I'd like to have gravel up there. Or, heavy
40-15, chase the
sandpaper.
second gallery.
Well, that's the dilemma. You can always paint it and put grit in it, but it's such a pretty court. It's such a shame to do that. Although I think we can't paint it. I think there's something about the wood that means you couldn't do that even if you wanted to.
40-15, receiver leads. Chase the second gallery.
Big game here for Leon.
Oh. Game receiver, 3 games to 4.
Right, 3-4.
Third set. $15 love. $15 Ball up.
Mr.
30-15.
Lumley Senior has just arrived at the airport. I'm going to go and see if I can find someone to give him a ride.
Okay. Here's a terrific question from Giles Doy on the chat. Do you think we will ever see a real tennis court built again that has a fully glass main wall? I think I would answer that question by saying it depends whether I'm alive or not. If I'm alive, I would probably advise not to do that. I think there are lots of great ways to get glass into a court, and viewing is just really terrific. But doing it on the main wall is probably, it was something that we had to do on our first court because that was the only place you could watch from. And even so, we might well have had the bottom 6 or 8 feet be the normal wall material and just have the glass above that. But it really does introduce another surface that inevitably behaves differently. So if whoever the court builder was were to ask me, I would say, see if there's another alternative. But, maybe they will end up doing it better at some point. Thanks for the question. Ross Can has a question.
40-30.
Leaving out the stuff that's nice about me. Am I offering my expertise to Charleston? No, they haven't asked. And I'm sure that they have plenty of people, not the least of whom is, Camden. And, I think that they have a lot of people who know a great deal about what they're doing. But I have not been asked.
No. Juice.
Ross also observes that Ryan has become a prisoner of his own broadcasting success and expertise.
Juice, one hazard.
He sure has.
Less than 2.
This has been a real game changer. The idea that, people in the far-flung countries that play this game can see an event, even if it's not in their own country, and to see it done so beautifully is, I think Ryan really deserves a huge amount of credit for that. One thing that I think is interesting is, does it impact attendance at the event live? We have, a lot of people from Washington and, maybe we'll have a few from Philadelphia and so forth for the finals. But if you can see something that looks this good on your home computer or on your phone, it's a pretty tempting place to be. And then to say nothing of the archival value of these matches. for newer players who may want to see what the game really looks like, and now the availability of historical matches is unbelievable. Ryan is asking if he can be excused and go home now. And the answer is, of course, no, because he's integral to the, there's not anybody who would be able to do what he is doing.
15 love.
Chris Vigris makes a good point, saying that Peter Luckilly and Mike Carter have also built 2 courts. Mike built 2 at the same time at Preston Hall, and Peter obviously did the Millennium Court and Wellington College, from which we learned a lot in our second court. We really didn't learn much of anything in the first court because we just did it and didn't know enough to even know who to ask. And but on the second court, we got a lot of advice from people who had successfully built courts and seen what the state of the art was.
Better than 2 chasers. All out. Sorry, boys. Thank you.
Tom Van Buskirk asks whether the smaller dead-on, smaller galleries and so forth encourage more floor rallies. That certainly was the intent. The idea, we actually began building this court with a philosophy, and the philosophy was that, first of all, that anybody who had played the game from any century should be able to come to the court and say, yep, this is the game I played when I was alive. And so we didn't want to change things that have been historically
Chase worse than 3.
True throughout the history of the game. We wanted those to all stay the same. The most important of those was that it should continue to be advantageous to be at the serving end. If we had suddenly become the only court in the world in which you'd prefer to be at the receiving end,
half yard worse than 6.
that would have obviously
15 all, better than
changed
2.
the game for everybody. So we tried to be sure that those ideas were achieved in reality.
30-15.
The point of actually just simply raising the lower level of the galleries and the grill and the dead-on was to encourage the idea that a good player really needed to be able to hit every kind of shot. And it wasn't, if there was somebody who could only hit the ball into the galleries, that we didn't want to encourage that. We wanted to encourage the ability to hit every kind of shot. And also thought that, frankly, the shot that the person at the hazard end uses to get to the serving end of dumping the ball into the second gallery, I'd be very curious to see in the chat how people feel about that. We thought that was a kind of a boring shot, and so it shouldn't be really encouraged. And,
Game server.
So that was the genesis of
7 leads, 5 games to 4.
basically
Third set.
making the galleries. They're probably 7% smaller, which is pretty small pretty. I mean, not a big difference. Certainly not a difference that, you know, once you're over handicap 10 or 15, you probably wouldn't notice.
Love. Love.
30 love.
Love and a hazard.
Hazard better than second.
Love, receiver leads, hazard chase, half a yard worse than 2. Stroke. Game. Set in the match.
Game, set, match. Well played, gentlemen.
Ben Taylor Matthews wins 6-3, 6-1, 6-4.